Welcome to Real Life Beyond Faith, where a formerly Christian, currently atheist couple takes a deep dive into the experience of life after deconversion. This is episode 18. I'm your host, Jenica Crail.
And I'm your host, Patrick Crail. And guess what?
What?
We're back.
We're back. We took a week off because we were both horribly sick.
Yeah.
And
we did a live video and told everybody.
Yeah, we did a Facebook Live. But also, we were in the midst of moving. So moving into a new house while sick, trying to juggle everything, try not to pass out. Yeah.
The thing is, though,
we were pretty overwhelmed.
Yeah. And we're both still kind of sick. We're a little bit better, but still kind of sick. And
I'm
we're
pretty sick still.
And we're still in the midst of moving.
Yeah.
We did most of everything so far, though.
Yeah.
Like moving wise. We still have some stuff to do at the other house, but
we are officially in our new studio.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's so much, more cozy and well set up, and it's not as overwhelming. Because in the other room, we were like in this tiny little room, very confined, like claustrophobic. And tons of clutter. So this is better. I mean, it'll definitely be better once we have it decorated and
much more room.
Unpack everything. But I'm digging this house, man.
Yeah. Me too.
So much more spacious and
room for activities.
So much room for activities.
Especially in that basement.
Why would we have activities in the basement?
Because there's so much room.
What are you
going to do with so much room?
I'm going to save my activities for our bedroom.
I mean, it doesn't have to stop there.
We'll start in the basement and end in our bedroom. What the hell?
All right, to be fair, those weren't the activities I was thinking of for the basement, but...
You know, we would have to travel 3 floors to get to our bedroom from the basement.
Mm-hmm.
How wicked sweet is that? Oh, man. So if I sound kind of nasally or like a frog, it's because I'm still not feeling so hot.
Yeah, me too.
So please forgive. We almost didn't record tonight. Like put it off for tomorrow because I was feeling so crappy, but pushing through. I'm feeling a little bit better now.
Yeah. Suck it up for the cause.
Yeah.
So one of the more exciting things about our move happened today, and today we got some new furniture delivered.
Oh my gosh, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. This is our first official set of furniture of our adult life. Like the furniture that we've had before this has been all passed down, used since college, all this stuff.
Super ugly, falling apart.
Yeah, all this stuff we've been using since before we met.
Yeah. Well, except for our dining room table that was given to us for free, but it was it was wood. And it was all just scraped up and had marks on, real bad.
Yeah.
You're probably picturing a slightly scraped up table. This table was just jacked. So we got a new dining room table. We got a couch, a love seat, a chair, coffee table, an end table. And we have 3 years to pay for it with no interest, which is the best part. Yeah. Well, maybe not the best part. The best part is having nice looking furniture.
It's so comfy. And another best part about it is we've both fallen asleep on the couches so far.
And we've only had it since this afternoon.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Very comfy.
Very comfy.
And now our home actually looks homey and cozy, which is nice.
Yeah.
But man, do I hate moving.
Oh, man.
It does not get easier. It just gets more annoying. And we've moved so many times. You would think that we'd have it like down to a science. Instead, I'm just like throwing random crap in random boxes. Like, I just don't care anymore. I'm so tired of moving.
I just did the math, and this is our 6th move since we've been married.
Oh, my Lord. We've been married for 7 years.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Hey. Yeah, but we are almost done.
Yeah.
We have till the end of the month. But we still have some cleaning to do. We still have a bunch of stuff at the house.
You mean the other house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's nice that we get to take our time a little bit. Most of the time, you have to just like do a huge move all in one day.
Mm-hmm.
But we got lucky this time and last time that we had a little bit of time to clean it out little by little and then, do the final touches on cleaning.
Yeah, and both of the past 2 times, we have been moving only about 15 minutes away from where we're currently living. So we're able to make trips back and forth, like during the day, in the evening.
And take like small loads just in our cars. So while we were gone on our week off from podcasting, there was a death in our community. A couple deaths, actually. A lot of you may already know about this, but Scott Smith, who was a co-host of Recovering from Religion, the podcast, he took his wife's life and his own this past week, or last week actually, and just utterly shocked and devastated our entire community. Nobody saw it coming. Everyone loved the guy. Like, his wife was very well loved. And it just shook us. Because since we didn't see it coming, like there was no way to prepare for it. He wasn't talking about suicide. He seemed fine from all outward appearances.
Yeah, and that's the big key. He seemed fine. Like, obviously there was a lot of stuff going on
behind the scenes.
Right.
But a lot of people knew that him and his wife were getting a divorce.
Right.
Which is probably a big reason why it happened. But, I mean, people get divorced all the time and they don't commit a murder-suicide.
Yeah. And especially when you have kids.
Yeah. They have 3 daughters.
Yeah, which they were in school when this happened.
The daughters were?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just horrible. So our hearts go out to those young girls, and we are just heartbroken for Jen as well, being taken out of this world long before she should have been.
Yeah.
Jen being his wife.
That being said, there is a GoFundMe set up in support of the daughters.
Yeah, it's called Help the Smith Girls. If you go to GoFundMe and search that. Also, we'll have it in the show notes. So if you go there, you can click the link and donate to the girls. There's no way for us to bring their parents back or to undo the horror of what has happened to them. But we can reach out and help them in a financial way.
Yeah.
And our thoughts and our prayers are not going to do anything to help them, but our actions and our money can. So I would encourage everyone to donate to that if you are in a position to do so.
Yeah, even a few bucks. It's going to a good cause of, 3 young, innocent girls who are going to have a tough future coming up.
Right. They went to school with 2 parents and came home to none.
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll post that link, and if you feel so inclined to help that family out, then go check it out.
And if you need someone to talk to, I know that a lot of people were close to Scott Patrick and I were Facebook friends with him and had talked to him on a couple of occasions, but we weren't close to him. It hit us hard. I know I, for one, I cried and I didn't even know him that well. I know a lot of you actually knew him well, and that this is, something that has hit you as the death of a friend. If you need someone to talk to, please reach out to someone. Don't bottle it up and let it become something that then brings you down too. There's the Secular Therapist Project, seculartherapy.org. I'm sure that the people at the Recovering from Religion Hotline Project would be willing to talk to you about this too. Just whatever you do, don't suffer alone. Reach out and talk to somebody.
Yeah, there's plenty of resources that you can go out to and reach out to.
Definitely.
All right, so this week we will be talking about Christmas and what that means for us as atheists and all the stuff that goes along with it. But we will do that when we come back.
Hey, all you listeners, I'm Robert.
And I'm Amy from Secular Yakking.
And we just wanted to let you know that if you've got 30 minutes to kill,
then we're the podcast for you. We're just some old married couple who's been yakking at each other over the many years.
And we thought we should start making it so you can listen in on our yakking.
We dig past the mainstream and bring you the news that you may or may not have heard about.
We take a look at politics, religion, science, and pretty much anything we feel like yakking about and sharing it with you. And let us not forget our weekly Mr. Potter Award.
No, we're not professionals on anything we talk about, but we love to yak about stuff and give you our opinion on the matter.
So tune in at secularyakking.com or check out our feed on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and anywhere good podcasts can be heard.
And who knows what craziness will happen.
Yeah, just like this.
Hi, I'm Trav Mamone.
And I'm Morgan Stringer.
Do you like drunken rants, major shade throwing, and semi-funny skits?
Do you often find yourself reading the news and thinking, are you shitting me?
Then check out the Biskeptical Podcast.
Every 2 weeks, we discuss politics, religion, and current events from a skeptical point of view.
You can find us on iTunes, Spreaker, and Stitcher.
Check us out, because in the end, we're all a little bi-curious.
And we're back. Oh, you guys all just lost your goddamn minds.
Yeah, you did.
Because that was so on sync.
It was all right.
Killed it.
Killed it.
So I was just thinking right before the break, you said that we would talk about how we celebrate Christmas as atheists and all that. And I was just thinking, it's kind of cool for me to hear you refer to yourself as an atheist. Like, after so long of us just like kind of going back and forth on it, talking about like, if it's even necessary for you to take the title of atheist, because you were kind of like, sticking with agnostic for a while, and like I couldn't even really get you to say the word for a long time. Like it became a joke because I was like, just say it. Just say you're an atheist. You're an atheist.
Yeah, and the thing is though, like everyone stigmatizes that word so much that it makes it so hard for, especially people coming out of religion to refer to themselves as an atheist.
Right.
It's a big, scary word.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people take the word atheist as being like a definitive stance, like you're declaring that there is no God. And that's not what it is. It's just the lack of a belief in God.
Right.
But it feels like that to people because they've been taught that that's what being an atheist means, that you're declaring there is no God and there's no possible way for there to be a God. And that's just not true. Being an atheist is just simply the lack of a belief in theism.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we want to normalize that word so people can embrace what they truly are.
Oh, hashtag normalize atheism. There you go.
Yep. But yeah, like, I think it's cool now that we can sit here and just casually throw out the word atheist about ourselves after so much of our life being indoctrinated into the idea that being an atheist is like the worst thing that you can be.
I remember it being scary at first, like whenever your dad came out and said it was like, oh no.
Like, but why aren't you just agnostic?
Yeah.
And like Nate, my brother, he called himself agnostic until he came back from Afghanistan, and that's when he started calling himself atheist. Which is kind of ironic considering we were thinking that he'd go to Afghanistan and come back believing in God again, which makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
But we
go to war, come back and believe in God.
We believed the myth that there are no atheists in foxholes.
You gotta believe in something.
Is kind of funny because I'm actually listening to the back catalog of Scathing Atheist right now. And in one of the first episodes, Noah talked about how it's, I don't know if I can even paraphrase him well because he's just so freaking eloquent and says things in such a way that there's no possible way to repeat it well without just, quoting him verbatim. But he was talking about how people say that there are no atheists in foxholes when really you can say there are no theists in foxholes. Basically, you'll just have to go back and listen to all of Scathing Atheist episodes because it's amazing. Noah's so eloquent and states things way better than I ever could. So anyway, that
Christmas,
was rambly. Let's edit that shit out. Don't mind me. Just a heads up, this is going to be a rough episode.
Not for the final product, because we cut that shit out.
Yeah. Let's hope.
Let's hope. That's what editing is for.
We have to have good material.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get to the good material. Patrick, you take us away.
That takes away.
Please,
this has no connection to Christmas.
Please take us away.
We're supposed to be talking about Christmas.
And I'm talking about atheists and foxholes.
Yeah.
All right.
Segue. Yeah, so Christmas, huh? So Christmas is coming up in just a few weeks. And, there's every year there's the war on Christmas, like atheists are just trying to kill Christmas, happy holidays. Oh,
how dare you say happy holidays and not Merry Christmas?
Right, because
what kind of heathen are you?
Technically, there are two holidays that we're celebrating in this time of year: Christmas and New Year's.
Not even just two, because you've got Hanukkah and you got Kwanzaa, you got all kinds of things that other people, winter solstice. Mm-hmm. People celebrate all kinds of stuff, but Christians want to claim that it's their singular holiday, which is the most important, that everything is all about.
I'm glad you said that.
Segue.
So, like Christians typically say, like, this is their holiday and it's all about Christ. And, Christ is in the word Christmas, but there are some things that we typically do, like traditions that we think are religious in nature. But some of you may or may not know that a lot of these traditions actually come from pagan roots.
Which is still religious, just not the right religion.
Right, not Christians.
Not the right religion.
Yeah.
It's French.
Good job. Yeah, this episode's going to be rough.
It's not rough. It's entertaining.
Yeah. So, the first and probably most important thing is the fact that we don't even know when Jesus was born. And it certainly wasn't December 25th.
Or if.
That's a different argument. But
I have to always bring that up, though.
yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of scholars most scholars.
All scholars.
I'm getting my scholars mixed up, All scholars agree that Jesus was not born on December 25th.
All scholars matter.
They certainly do. But here's the trick. Some scholars disagree on when they think he was born.
Right, if he was born.
Right.
But he definitely wasn't born on December 25th.
Right. Some people say he was born in like June. Some people October.
Dude, they don't even know.
Yeah, they disagree. And the scholars agree that he wasn't even born in the year 1 AD because according to the biblical story of King Herod
which was bullshit.
Right. But according to the stories, that would put him being born at like 6 to 4 BC.
Yeah. So basically, nobody knows what the hell they're talking about, but he definitely wasn't born on December 25th. We celebrate his birth on December 25th as if it actually matters, but really, December 25th was just stolen.
Do you know why we do it on December 25th?
Because winter?
Winter solstice.
Yeah.
And there's also another big one.
Okay.
Which, we don't celebrate.
I know what it is, but I'll let you say it.
So the Romans actually celebrated a holiday called Saturnalia. That's how you say it, right?
Saturnalia, I think.
Yeah, that. And it was at the end of December, and it was a festival dedicated to the Roman god Saturn.
In Saturn we trust.
So Saturnalia was the celebration of agriculture, and they were celebrating, since winter solstice is the shortest day of the year, from that point on, the days were going to start getting longer. And it was also kind of celebration of, all right, they're done with the crops for the year. They don't have to work in the fields anymore. Also, it's kind of a dead time of the year. So without a celebration, people would kind of like just get bored and, I don't know, sometimes go crazy.
I totes would be one of the crazy people, just like wandering around like, I got nothing to do. Somebody give me something to do. Give me something to drink, something to celebrate. That would be me for sure.
Yeah. So I didn't notice when that festival started, like what year, but I saw that in the year 217 BC, the holiday went kind of through a transformation. So
what
this
was
holiday,
what was it, BC?
217.
217. Okay.
So way before Christians were starting to celebrate Christmas.
Right.
And it only went through transformation in that year. So it was going on before that.
Huh.
And this celebration went on through 3rd and 4th century AD before Christians started, taking over.
And they just kind of said, hey, that's a pretty cool celebration you got there.
Yeah. Well, there was also gift giving and partying. But they...
What about Christmas trees? Was that part of Saturnalia?
I don't think it was part of that. I think that came later. It was more of a German tradition.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Now, is it true that the Christmas tree is a symbol of fertility?
I guess in some ways, like it's, from what I saw, it symbolizes life because in the winter, like normal crops, they die in the winter.
Yeah.
Trees, they lose their leaves, but evergreens, they stay green all year long. So it's kind of like a symbol of life throughout.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a phallic symbol.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, from what I've read, the Germans started that, and then one of the queens brought that tradition to the States in like 1600 or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did a queen bring it here? Did she come here?
German descent through, I think, the prince at the time.
Oh.
He was of German descent, and then they brought the tradition to the States.
Crazy. I'm
Yeah.
so glad they did, because my favorite part of Christmas is the lights, and mainly the lights on the Christmas tree. Doesn't even have to be a real Christmas tree. In fact, it's better if it's not, because then you don't get needles all over the place.
Yeah.
We tried having a real Christmas tree one year. Oh my gosh. It nearly
Needles
broke our
everywhere.
vacuum cleaner. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But right now we have a beautiful fake Christmas tree in our living room, and it is glorious.
Although the kitties did steal some ornaments from it this morning,
The kitties are bastards.
but they are also cute.
Yeah. We forgive.
Yeah.
But anyway, Christmas trees are awesome.
That's another tradition that's kind of stolen from old traditions, pagan traditions, also from Saturnalia. The Romans often hung metal ornaments that represented a god, either Saturn or the family's patron deity. So they would decorate the tree in honor
So
of
they did
Saturn.
have a tree. You said it was German.
Well,
So
they hung ornaments.
they hung ornaments. Not necessarily on a tree. Maybe on a tree.
Maybe on a tree.
We'll leave that one up in the air.
Might have to come back and correct that one.
But the fact is they had ornaments
Yes.
dedicated to other gods
Yes.
besides Captain Yahweh.
Yeah.
Did you know that Jewish people aren't supposed to say Yahweh?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it
They're
like
not supposed to say the name of
slander
God.
or-
It's taking the Lord's name in vain.
Hmm.
I think that's their reasoning.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yahweh. Yahweh. Blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm officially damned to hell. All right, let's go.
All right. So the Romans weren't the only ones that decorated their trees and used decoration. Earlier Germanic tribes decorated their trees with fruit and candles in honor of Odin.
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 Cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what Odin was the god of?
Not the moment, but I will look it up. Turns out Odin is a war god. Do you know that?
I do now.
Now you do.
God of war and death.
And death.
And what did it say? Wisdom and something else?
Something else.
Little bit of useless information for you there.
If you could call that information.
We half informed you, okay?
Yeah. Go look it up.
Listen, he's the god of war, death, and wisdom, whatever that means.
So it took Christians, at least a couple hundred years to even latch on to a winter holiday.
Why?
And well, one reason that I saw in my research was that because in the Bible it doesn't mention a birth date, it doesn't say when he was born. It didn't occur to them to celebrate it. And then at that time, the people of the church were starting to believe or latch on to this idea that Jesus was more of a spiritual figure and not a human.
Mm-hmm.
So the church, to kind of rally that mindset, they...
Not rally it, but rein it in.
Right, rein it in.
Yeah.
They decided to give him a birthday. And what better way to make him seem human than to give him a birthday to celebrate?
Yeah.
Because all
True.
humans have birthdays,
Right. It's actually kind of genius
Yeah.
in a stupid way.
One of the other reasons that the December date was picked was because with Saturnalia and how they were celebrating, with it being the shortest day of the year, winter solstice, from that day on, the days start getting longer. So they saw it as the birth of the sun. The birth of the
it's
sun.
a pun. Oh, they're clever.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that was another one of the parallels that they kind of latched onto.
The birth of the sun, which the sun has actually also been an object of worship for a very, very, very long time. And for good reason. It's the reason we're all alive.
Yeah.
Makes more sense to worship the sun being like the thing that keeps us alive.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Son of God. I'm talking about SUN.
Yes.
Yeah.
The star in our solar system.
I'm pretty sure everyone knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Oh, and that wasn't until the 4th century that the church in Rome embraced the winter holiday, Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. Like, they just kind of stole the holiday.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, so I know you've been celebrating this.
This is ours now.
These gods. But actually, nope, this is just Jesus' birthday now.
Yeah.
Freaking deal with it. So weird. And now Christians have the nerve, without knowing any of the history, to say that people are stealing their holiday by celebrating without celebrating Jesus. Really? Takes 2 seconds to Google the history of Christmas and find out it's not your holiday.
Mm-hmm.
No one is stealing your freaking holiday.
Oh, and kind of along the lines of the war on Christmas, I thought this was kind of funny. The Puritans actually hated the holiday, and they banned it for a while.
So if you want to blame someone for a war on Christmas, blame the Puritans.
Yeah, and that was in the 16th century.
You know, when I was a Christian, like during my like hardcore phase, when I would just like judge the crap out of all of the Christians. Like nobody was hardcore enough. Nobody was on fire enough for Jesus. And this was when I was like 20 years old. I would literally like protest Christmas because I was way too good for Christmas. Like people just, you know, they didn't get it. They didn't understand, you know, the meaning and the depth behind Christmas. And, you know, they were making it a commercialized holiday and things like that. And so I wouldn't do the gifts, and I just protested it for a couple of years for the reason that I thought Christmas was being stolen by the secular, commercialized world that I lived in.
Yeah, and they actually did gift giving in Saturnalia.
Yeah, well, that was actually part of it too. Well, when my dad started learning about Christmas and telling all of us about all the pagan traditions that it actually came from, which I think was like the beginning of his, you know, journey into atheism, because he started doing research and he started saying like, you know, Christmas isn't what we always thought it was. It then morphed from me thinking I'm better than everyone and that I wasn't going to celebrate this commercialized holiday to me thinking I'm not going to celebrate this pagan holiday.
Yeah.
Basically, I was always just better than everyone.
Of course.
Because that's what you do when you're 20.
As far as gift giving goes, the Christian mindset is that the wise men came and brought gifts to Jesus. So that's why we give gifts during Christmas. Which, if that's your mindset and that's why you're giving gifts, that's fine. But that's not the origin of the whole gift giving. That's not where that came from.
Right. The tradition is way older than the whole Christ story.
Yeah. And then the last tradition that I wrote down was Christmas caroling, and how that is also a pagan tradition. Do you know that?
No, I did not.
Well, now you're about to know.
Yes. I love knowledge.
It comes from a pre-Christian fertility rite. The singing was
even better.
right. The singing was to drive away spirits that might inhibit crop growth.
Oh, that kind of fertility.
Yeah.
Dang it.
So groups of people would go like house to house, crop to crop, singing songs to try to drive away the spirits, so that come spring they would be able to have these,
I thought you were saying like people would go house to house, like serenading the people trying to like get invited in.
No,
like that kind of fertility.
I could get with that. But no, this is a little bit different.
Oh, man.
And the church didn't adopt this until the 13th century with St. Francis.
Huh.
Yep.
So basically all of the traditions of Christmas, basically all of them,
pretty much,
are not Christian in origin.
Yeah. So, with that being said, atheists are allowed to celebrate Christmas. Imagine that.
Which
and enjoy it.
Before even knowing any of these things, or even if I still didn't know any of these things, I have a right to do whatever the hell I want. If I want to celebrate a holiday that is not mine, I have the freedom to do that. But as an atheist, I don't believe that any of this stuff is sacred. Neither do you. But a lot of aspects of it are fun. And the decorations and the lights and the gifts, they're all very fun.
Gathering with friends and family.
Yeah, like all of this stuff, these are things that atheists, humanists, secularists, we can believe in these things and celebrate however we want, especially the whole gathering of family and stuff like that. Like people want to say, well, you don't have a right to celebrate Christmas because you don't believe in Christ. Like, well, you don't believe in Saturn. Why are you celebrating Christmas?
Yeah. Or Odin.
Yeah. Or any of the things.
But yeah, really the only tradition these days that we don't participate in is going to like a Christmas Eve service.
Yeah. And I mean, we could go with your parents or something like that to their Christmas Eve service. Doesn't mean that we condone it or agree, but we can sit there and witness it. We can watch it and it doesn't affect us in any way.
Yeah. Go sing some Christmas carols and, hang out with some friends and family.
It's not like the way I used to think, where if you went to something that was against what you believed in, then somehow like some demonic force would rub off on you. Like I literally thought that about certain things, like that I didn't want to be in certain areas. I didn't want to be in certain buildings where certain things or rituals were happening because I thought it was demonic.
Right.
Like when I went down to New Orleans to help with Katrina relief, we drove through New Orleans. And I was like legitimately concerned that the demonic spirit of that place would somehow affect me in a negative way.
All the voodoo and witchcraft and stuff.
Yeah. Because I was so brainwashed to think that way. Oh my gosh. Moving on. Anyway, so Christmas is fun. So, okay, Patrick.
Jenica.
That first year when I became an atheist in February, and then you like kind of went on your journey and came out, I don't know, like 6 months later. I don't know when it was exactly.
About
But
then.
all of that happened during the year right before the holidays happened. So do you remember what you were like thinking or going through when the holidays come around? Like, were you thinking maybe we shouldn't celebrate? Do you remember?
No, I was thinking like, yeah, we can still celebrate this holiday. It's Christmas. Like, it's not, the things that we do aren't inherently religious.
Right. Yeah, if
Like,
we're not going to church, then we're not doing anything religious, really.
Right. Like, still go see family, give gifts. I mean, we got gifts for the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Go visit our families and hang out with them and have a good time.
I think we actually went to the Christmas Eve church services with your parents that year.
Yeah.
And that was even after we came out to, well, I came out to them,
Right.
I think. I don't know if, no, you hadn't come out to them yet. But, I mean, they knew I wasn't a Christian anymore.
Right.
But I still sat there. The hardest part about going to church is that I want to sing so bad.
That's kind of a weird.
But I also don't want to sing those songs because I don't believe the lyrics, but I know all of them and I love singing. So it's really hard.
Yeah.
Plus, sometimes, like the church bands that put on these elaborate Christmas performances are actually pretty good. Like, it's a legitimately entertaining experience. So I kind of enjoyed that too. But at the same time, now knowing how much I know about religion and its damaging effects on our world, I feel like I probably couldn't sit there and just enjoy it for the art. I'd probably still get mad.
Yeah. I mean, our church in Hudson always had like a big Christmas concert.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we ever went to.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
A
maybe
few
we did.
years.
Yeah, we did.
I went to a few of them. You may have only gone to one. And it was when Ethan was a baby, so.
Yeah, I do remember taking him to that.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a question. When you were growing up and like in your teenage years, early adult years, before you had kids, basically, did you think that you would tell your kids about Santa and tell, like, basically, you know, play that whole game with them?
It's hard to remember, but I think I was thinking that, yeah, I would.
You would tell them that Santa was real?
I don't know.
Did your parents tell you that Santa was real?
Yeah, but it was kind of like,
Half-hearted?
yeah,
Yeah.
like it was for like my early childhood, but then like as I got a little bit older, like they would just kind of like joke about like, oh, you better get to bed before Santa shows up. It's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. So yeah, I mean, we weren't real invested into it, so
Right.
I wasn't heartbroken when that realization came to me
Yeah.
that Santa is not real.
You weren't devastated.
No,
Yeah.
I don't even remember like when it was that it hit me. I think I was in like kindergarten.
That's pretty early.
So what about you? What were your thoughts as far as like what you thought when you were younger about teaching your kids about Santa?
Well, my parents never told us that Santa was real. They always told us, you know, some people tell their kids that Santa is real, so don't ruin it for anybody.
Yeah.
But we just want to be honest with you and up front, like, Santa's not real. And I think a big part of that for them was, one, they didn't want to lie to us. And two, they wanted us to believe them when they told us stuff that they felt was really important, like the fact that God was real and Jesus was real. So if they're telling us that God and Jesus are real and that Santa is real, and then we find out that they were lying about one of those things, then we might question whether they were
Right.
lying about the other thing, which now, obviously, in retrospect, they know that that's not really a valid reason, but it still rings true to me that I'd rather not lie to my children. And I always liked the fact that my parents trusted us with that knowledge, that while some of our friends were being duped by their parents, my parents told me the truth right up front because they trusted me with it and they felt like I was mature enough to handle that information without bullying people with it. I think what it comes down to for me, like, even though there's like the fun and the magic of young kids believing in something like Santa, what it comes down to for me, and I know we've talked about this in another episode, our Q&A episode, but I just want to be honest as much as possible with my kids about everything. And I want it to start immediately. When my boys ask me uncomfortable questions, like Ethan has asked me uncomfortable questions about where babies come from and things like that, where a lot of times parents will just kind of like shy away from the subject, like, I'll tell you when you're older. Like, I answer his questions honestly, and not like graphic detail, but I answer on a level that he can understand. And we talk about things very honestly. We talk about death. Sometimes he has questions about death.
Yeah, there was a period he was asking a lot of questions about death.
Yeah. And like, I would explain to him that when we die, we get put back into the earth and we become part of the earth again. And then he would ask me when we become zombies.
That's right. Asking the real questions there.
Yeah, real deep questions there. But for me, like, I don't know. I just don't want to lie to my kids. And another thing that people argue is that it gives kids an opportunity to use their critical thinking skills to figure out that Santa's not real. And then later in life, or even, early in life, they can use those same critical thinking skills to discover that God and Jesus are not real. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch because, I don't know, like, it seems like there are a ton of people who believed in Santa when they were young and still believe in God when they're old. So it's not necessarily a recipe to help a child have critical thinking skills. It's more like they realize that this old guy can't visit every house in the world in one night and deliver presents to everyone.
Not to mention, he probably can't fit down a chimney.
Right. Yeah, so I just can't bring myself to tell my children this stuff and still feel, I don't know, ethical, I guess.
Right.
And like, I want to stress that I don't judge people who do tell their kids about Santa, like tell their kids that Santa is real. Like, that's up to every family to make that decision for themselves.
Well, that's why we tell ours, not to ruin it for others.
Right. Because, I mean, it's a fun thing, I guess, like I never experienced it for myself. So I'm coming from a place of, I never believed in Santa. I don't know the magic of it. So I don't know, maybe I was missing out. Who knows? But for me, it just seems like blatant lying. And I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around that. You're on board with that?
Yep.
Cool. We seem to be on the same page with a lot of things, which makes things pretty easy for us, decision-wise.
We joke all the time that we are the same.
We are the same. We have the same brain.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I mean, beyond just like saying the same things at the same time like every couple does, but like you and I just literally agree on everything, down to the way we decorate. It's really kind of whacked out. Like, it freaks me out.
Except lately.
Well,
You've been fighting me on some things.
Oh, one thing. One thing. I wanted to keep my big mirror from my vanity, and you're going to throw that in my face? I want the big mirror. It's my mirror. I will fight you to the death. Get up off my mirror.
Bring it.
I want my mirror.
Nope.
We went and we bought a nice fancy mirror, okay? You got your mirror. Jeez. It's the only thing. That's the literal only thing.
All right. So most things, 99.9% of things we agree on.
99.99999% of the things. Except for this damn mirror. He wanted me to have this tiny ass mirror for my vanity. Nobody has a tiny mirror for their vanity.
In the trash can.
What?
The trash can.
Oh, where the trash can should be placed.
Yeah.
I know. That was such a huge argument.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it comes down to I win the argument and you just agree. You have to have the trash can next to the coffee maker because you have to bring the coffee filter to the trash can. If you're taking it all the way across the floor, you're dripping across the whole floor. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say is I think these things through a little bit better.
I disagree. Have fun editing that out. Anyways.
I just coughed up a small mouse.
Anyways, what we're trying to say is we'd like to thank our patrons.
Right. That's what we were trying to say.
Yeah.
Firstly, we'd like to thank Rich, who wants to plug Recovering from Religion, which is a great organization that helps people who are doubting their faith and are going through the process of deconversion. If you'd like to reach out to them, the website is recoveringfromreligion.org.
We also have Christopher, who wants to plug Tri-State Freethinkers. It's a great organization in the tri-state area of
Cincinnati.
In the tri-state area.
Basically Cincinnati.
In the tri-state area of Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. But also Kentucky. And some from Indiana. But yeah, they do a lot of cool things, a lot of community service, social events, two separate things, community service and social events, and education, all kinds of good stuff. Activism, yes. Check them out. They're good. They're good people. We like them.
Also, we'd like to thank Thomas of Serious Inquiries Only, an awesome podcast where he talks about politics, science, religion, and any topic that is interesting in the news or whatever. And he brings on awesome guests and has fantastic interviews. And actually, this past week, his interview was with the runner-up for Miss America. And I thought that was a really fascinating conversation. So check him out.
Do it.
Do it now.
We also want to thank Marissa Alexa McCool. She is the co-host of Inciting Incident and several other podcasts.
Like you're just like,
Can't
so many
them all.
podcasts.
It's not a bad thing. The sis are getting out of hand.
Yeah, that's a good one.
She has also authored, I think, 5 books now?
Yeah.
The 5th one coming out soon.
5 just since coming out as trans.
Just in the past couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of
unbelievable.
Amazing. Yeah.
Blows my mind.
So check her out in her podcast. Her main one is Inciting Incident.
Yeah.
The Inciting Incident podcast.
Her new book is called Passing Cars. So look it up on, I think it's on Amazon. And purchase it right now.
Or pre-order it.
Pause the show, purchase, come back. Okay, thank you.
Do it.
Sorry, we got a little bossy for a minute. You know you liked it. Also, we have a new patron this week.
Yeah.
The Wayward Willis. Thank you,
Thank you, Wayward Willis.
Jinx. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, we do.
We appreciate all of our patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting us and what we do.
Yeah, you
It
guys
really
rock.
makes this so much easier for us financially, and also just makes us feel pretty damn special. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, and we're going to try not to skip any weeks this month. Now that
We're not skipping any
are-
weeks ever again, unless we die.
or get deathly ill again and have to move the same week.
Yeah, unless we get deathly ill and move all in the same week. So basically, this is never happening again.
At least for another year.
But thanks, guys, so much. And thank you for your patience and also for being awesome.
Yeah, you guys rock.
We'll catch you on the flip side. But in the meantime,
Keep it real.
first we would like to thank Rich, who likes...
Like
Who
long
likes
walks
to-
on a beach.
likes to
And-
recover from religion.
And he likes to stab people.
I can't laugh right now. Help me. Okay.